Hey everyone, it's Ted, the Buffalo Beauty Boy, and today's video is one that I've wanted to do for a little bit. I had the idea in mind. I kind of knew the direction that I wanted to go, but then I took a survey on my Instagram stories for recommendations, and it pretty much kind of confirmed what I was feeling. So I guess I should tell you what we're going to be doing today. And if you clicked on the video, you probably know based on the title, but I'm going to be sharing men's makeup with you. So I want to stipulate, I'm saying men's makeup for the flashy title. This could be chalked up to, a no makeup or something like that. But as a man in the beauty industry who loves cosmetics, loves makeup, loves putting on a face, it can be kind of intimidating when you start out. I think we have this internalized, misogyny of I'm a man, I can't wear makeup. And it's like, well, you can, you just, have to get over that. And also, I want to stipulate that makeup should not have a gender. I hate that we have such strict, binary assignments to things such as cosmetics. That's just really foul to me. And I started this channel to kind of, in my own small way, dismantle that a little bit. I say it all the time. I'm a beauty professional. I'm also a fat man. So, I don't look like everybody else. And I hate that, beauty has been safeguarded and reserved for certain people or aesthetics, and that's really gross. So I wanted to come on and just kind of share, if I were, this is the makeup kit that I would build for, baby Ted when I was 20 and starting to wear makeup. So if you are, a masculine person who wants to, put on a couple of products and feel really good. If you are somebody who's more feminine and wants to go for something that's, a little bit less, full coverage or a little bit less obvious, then these I think are really great recommendations. So the products that I chose today are very easy to work with. I feel like the textures are just really agreeable. And I also feel like they all have pretty decent shade ranges. Or there's something that's very similar that has a really great shade range. So first and foremost, I think skincare is really important. I have on a moisturizer and a sunscreen. So just making sure that you have a really great hydrated base is super important. And the first, I guess, cheat code that I think is really important is having a glowy primer. So there's a ton of shimmer goo on the market. One that I think is really agreeable and easy to use is the Say Super Glowy Gel. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Glowy Super Gel. And this is the shade Star Glow. So what I'm gonna do is take one pump all over. And this just gives some really great luminosity to the skin. I think something like this is really important because you can put it on and it's just gonna make your skin look really healthy without adding too much of a color tint or a shade to your skin. It's just gonna look like, whoa, he's got, really healthy skin. So after you've got a, pretty luminous base, I like to go in and just kind of perfect that base. You can see I've got a blemish here, and I don't suffer from dark circles too badly under my eyes. But my skin could use a little bit of evening. So this is definitely an extra step, but it's one that I personally like. And that is to go in with a foundation, a concealer, whatever you think, works best for you. I personally love the Merit Stick Foundation because I feel like it does a little bit of both. This is the shade Linen, but it's awesome. It comes in the stick format. It's pretty high coverage, but it's easy to use. So it really blends out easily. And what I like to do is I like to use my fingers for this when I'm doing a super minimal look. This is great because you can use it all over your face and really build it up and have a full coverage look, but you can do something similar like I am today where you can just kind of perfect. So I'm gonna dot that anywhere that I have a blemish. And then a tiny bit under my eyes. I like to do the corner of my nose, and then I like to do just one or two light sweeps on my forehead. And then I like to use my fingers to blend it in. So when I have a blemish, I like to just kind of tap to disperse the pigment without really detracting from that. Now, the really important thing with anything like this is that it's gonna fix color and not texture. So I know that where that blemish is, you're still gonna see it, but it's not super massively obvious anymore. For my forehead, I just kind of like to rub it all over, and then underneath my eyes and at the corners of my nose. Just breaking that up. So after I have the product thoroughly blended, I find it's best to take a step back and look a decent distance. How does my skin look? I think it looks perfected, brightened, but I don't think it looks like I have, you know, a ton of anything on. And I love this product specifically because I feel like it very much mimics skin, especially over a really dewy base like this. Another tool that I think is imperative is a beauty sponge. This is clearly used and a little bit beaten up. It's the EcoTools biodegradable blender. And when you're using a sponge, you always want to make sure that it's wet when you're using it for application. It's going to help to distribute the product. And when a sponge is wet, it's less likely to absorb a ton of the product as well. So I'm going to wet my sponge really quickly. The third actual product that I think is really wonderful is the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in the shade Nutcracker. This is a liquid product that you can use for your eyes, for your lips, for your face. So it's really multi-purpose, but this is a great contour bronzer. I like it because I feel like I can sculpt without looking like I've really done a whole lot. And it's super, super concentrated. So you need just the tiniest bit. I like to kind of dot this at the hollows of my cheeks. And I'm using just the very tip. I'll put a little bit on my nose and then just a touch at the corners of my forehead. There's tons of products that are similar to this, but I feel like this one sets down and dries, but it's not one that works so quickly that it's hard to work with. So I'm gonna take my sponge and just start working that product into the skin. When it starts to look like that, don't panic. It really blends and buffs into a great contour. See how this just looks a little bit more hollow and sculpted, but it doesn't look like I've really done a whole lot. I like the shade Nutcracker for my skin tone because I feel like it's nestled right in between how my skin looks when it's tan and also the natural contours of my face. And I find if I'm gonna bronze my skin, going from the corners of my forehead in helps it to look a little bit more natural than if I were to just kind of swipe all across my forehead. You can also use this for faux freckles, which is really kind of fun as well. But this is my face after I've bronzed a little bit. Next, I'm gonna go in with a cream blush, and blush is probably my favorite part of doing my makeup. blush was one of the first products that I really kind of fell in love with. And a cream blush, I think, is imperative. I feel like it really melts into the skin and really just gives such a natural look depending on the color. And I had to choose Phytosurgence. Phytosurgence is a wonderful LGBTQ Asian-owned brand from Canada. Their formulas are impeccable. Their shades are phenomenal. And this is the shade Evaporate. It's a nude peach kind of shade. And I know that that looks really intimidating, but when you put it on your skin, it looks so natural. Their shades are super highly concentrated. So what I like to do, especially when I was kind of beginning with the formulas, I would put it on the back of my hand and emulsify it and really warm it up before putting it on my face. Because the first time I tried it, I was in for a bit of a shock. So I take what's on my hand and I like to go on the apples of my cheeks and I'll get both of those done. A good way to find where the apples of your cheeks are is to smile and then go like right where that shine is, where the light hits. And then, because I personally like a really blushy look, I'm gonna take my sponge and pick up some of that product on the back of my hand and then just buff that in. And you wanna go upwards towards your hairline. So see how natural that looks? It's a really glowy cheek, it's dewy, it looks like you've got some skincare on, it looks healthy, but it's not makeup-y. And that's what today is all about. Just looking good, feeling good, taking 5 minutes to put on a face. And, maybe that gives you the confidence when you're stepping out and taking on the day. And that's really what this is all about. I take whatever's left on my sponge and just to make sure that everything looks really seamless, I'll dot that across my nose and then a little on my forehead. That just helps to make sure that I have the tones that I've got in strategic places on my face all over so that it just looks like a more cohesive look and looks more skin-like. Now, if you have dark hair, you might not need to do this, but I'm a blonde, so I'm gonna fill in my eyebrows, and I love using a brow mascara or a brow gel. I personally like one that's tinted with a little bit of hold, but there's tons of things on the market that kind of fill this gap. So that can be a clear brow gel, that can be a brow pencil. I personally feel like a brow gel is the easiest to use. This is the Thick It Stick It Brow Mascara in the shade, I believe, Cool Ash Brown. So it's got this wand and it's a thicker, heavier formula. So what I like to do is kind of swirl my brush on the way out. And then I always like to start on the outer tails of my eyebrow and just kind of fill in like that. This will push your brows up and give them a little bit of hold so that they kind of stay in place. And it just really frames your face super well, especially if you're a glasses wearer like myself. So now I haven't gone and dipped back in. I'm just using whatever's left on the spoolie and I'm gonna take it all the way to the front of my brows. I personally like to just take the tips of my pinky and just push my brows down a little bit into place because my brow hairs tend to get pretty long and I like leaving them longer because I feel like it helps my brows look really substantial. But if I stick them too far up, I have these like whiskers hanging off the top of my head. So that is my brow all done and dusted. And if you are really looking for something super minimal, this is a great, 4 products. This is a great handful of products, take you 5 minutes to put your face on and you can just feel really good. But if you really want to kick it up, maybe for nighttime, maybe for a special event or something like that, you can definitely add a little bit more. And for that, I think the 2 biggest things that you can really do is put on a little bit of a lip and some highlighter. So I think let's do the highlighter first. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Glow highlighter in the shade Pearl. And it's a great fleshy tone. Now, typically with a powder highlighter, I like to use a brush, but I chose this one because you can actually use your fingers to apply it. So you want to take and swirl very, very lightly. You don't need to press. And what I like to do is kind of brush the top of my hand first, and then just press wherever I want a little bit of glow. You can see that luminosity. It just refracts light really nicely. And now I'll do this typically every day, but you definitely don't have to. And then my favorite trick specifically for like masculine men's makeup is I'll take a little bit of my highlighter and then I like to go just above my brow and I almost kind of make a triangle. That helps to pull your eyebrow up a little bit and it stops our brow bones from looking too heavy. And if you use the right shade, it's virtually undetectable. The next thing that I'll do if I really want to kick it up is I will use a little bit of a lip product. I typically tend to go for a like sheer lipstick, but today I'm going to be using the Dior Lip Glow Oil just because I feel like this is viral and there's a ton of shades. They even have a clear one, but this is great because it's not just a standard lip gloss. It does have some nourishing properties. So it's going to keep your lips feeling soft and nice after you're wearing it. I have the shade Mahogany, which is one of their darker shades. So definitely don't see me put this on and be intimidated that like this is what your lips are going to look like because there's a ton. You can, you know, look and see which one you feel like works best for you. And then they also have a clear one as well. And what I like to do is start in the middle and then use my finger to disperse the product. I feel like it gives my lips just a hint of color, a little bit of moisture, but it's not super sticky and it doesn't look like you're wearing a full lip gloss, but you can absolutely put on more and build this up to the place where it is gonna look like you're wearing a bit of a gloss, which again is really fun. I specifically chose these products because I feel like depending on how you use them, you can look like you have a full face of glam or you can have something really minimal like this. My last extra product, if you really wanna kick it up, is an eyeshadow. And if you want to do something super dramatic, you can use the Vision Flush in a super light wash all over the eye to richen and darken it up, and then go in with a sheer shimmer. This one is the Urban Decay Moon Dust Shadow in the shade Space Cowboy, and this makes your eyes look wet. It's stunning. See that really nice shimmer? But you kind of have to be close to see it. So what I like to do is just take my finger and then I like to start on the inner corner and work out. I feel like it makes me feel like I'm in euphoria. It's a really soft look. You're not gonna have like product mixing in your eyebrow and really like showing that you're wearing eyeshadow. This is a cult product because it works really well on so many different eye colors and so many different skin tones. And I feel like if you want to go the extra mile, it's a great tool to have in your pared down beauty bag. Up close, you can see it looks like I've really got a lot going on my eyes. But then when you take a step back, it just looks really iridescent and healthy and glowy. And again, this is like a more, you know, dramatic version of something that you can do for every day. The last cheat code for keeping your skin and your makeup looking really good for the rest of the day is a really good setting spray. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is a mini, and for these kinds of products, I like having a mini because I don't necessarily use it every day, and you only need a little bit. But this is great because it just makes everything look like it's really skin-like, and I don't think it looks like we're wearing a whole lot. So this is going to help transform those products into an even more skin-like texture, and it's also going to help your makeup last all day. So I Don't know if this one you have to shake, but I just feel like I shake all of them. And then I like to do like 4 really good sprays all over, but you don't want to go super close. So I like to go and then just kind of let it dry. And if you're looking and you feel like there's a spot maybe that it's not super blended, while your setting spray is wet, I'll take my sponge again and just kind of work to blur that a little bit. For me, if it's not going to be blended somewhere, typically it's where my beard is growing in. So I probably should have shaved this morning, but I didn't. And I thought that would be a great way to kind of show my skin in the video, because I find a lot of products, once they intermingle with beard hair, it just looks heavy no matter what it is. That's definitely the plight of having a beard and wearing makeup. So I wanted to make sure that all of these products were beard friendly, as well as like high performance formulas that I feel like you can really change and adapt to what you're looking for, as well as having a, you know, either like diverse enough range that it works for most skin tones, or it really is something that I would categorize as like a universal shade. So I've been wearing makeup for probably like 6 to 7 years now. And some of these products are new to me. Some of them are old favorites, but all of them are formulas that I love and I think are really good for multiple skin types, multiple, you know, application methods. You, like I said, you can really build these up and transform from something minimal, something that's maybe a little bit more medium like this, or something really high full coverage glamour. I really want to stipulate that I hate that gender has been assigned to cosmetics and beauty products and self-care in general. And if there's anything that I can testify, it's that this portion of my like routine is something that I take a lot of solace in. It's something that makes me feel really good. And I just wanted to share that with everybody. That's why I started this channel. So I try to make pretty like generalized content that's inclusive to everybody. But I wanted to maybe, you know, break the threshold on specifically men looking for makeup. So masculine people, men, people that are looking for a minimal makeup routine, I think this is wonderful for you. I think all of these formulas are great. They're all really adaptable, and that's what I wanted to create. So at no point during this video did I want anybody to feel uncomfortable or not included or welcomed to the discussion. I know that most of my followers are, you know, according to the algorithm, women. But again, I really just wanted to kind of make this video and talk about, you know, a face that maybe I don't do a ton on camera, but this is probably what I do most of the time in real life. So let me know in the comments what products you're loving, and please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you found any of these products or tips helpful. And most importantly, I would love it if you subscribed. Come hang out. I am trying to post videos once a week. If you made it this far, thank you so much for coming to hang out. I hope that you're taking care of yourselves. I hope that you're showing yourself the same kindness and love that you show everybody else. And most importantly, I hope you remember that you're made of gold. Until next time.